After the great outpouring of overwhelming support, I'm proud to announce my candidacy for the United States Senate. I believe in equal rights for all and respect for all Americans. However, what makes me different is I also demand respect for the rights and the heritage of European Americans. I'm overjoyed to see Donald Trump and most Americans embrace most of the issues that I've championed for years.
David Duke, white supremacist, former Ku Klux Klan grand wizard, once the Republican Party's candidate for governor of Louisiana, much to the horror of the National Republican Party. He's really America's most famous cartoonish racist. And this year, he says he literally is overjoyed to see the rise of Donald Trump in national Republican politics. Donald Trump has now become a daily headache for the mainstream Republican Party. But in the deep, dark David Duke corner of the Republican Party, Donald Trump is Christmas and Happy Birthday and Mardi Gras all rolled into one. If Donald Trump can become the Republican Party's presidential nominee with his views on race and immigrants, and retweeting white supremacists and taking a while to renounce support from a guy like David Duke, well, then David Duke apparently sees a bright new future in Republican politics for his old school Klan version of Republican politics. And so, praising Trump, Duke announced a run for Senate in Louisiana this year. He's running for the open U.S. Senate seat vacated by scandal-hounded conservative Republican David Vitter. And right on schedule, Republicans started repudiating David Duke in his new run for office. The local Republican Party put out a statement calling him a convicted felon and a hate-filled fraud who does not embody the values of the Republican Party. The Senate campaign, part of the National Republican Party, said immediately that David Duke, quote, will not have the support of the NRSC under any circumstance. But it's interesting. The Republican Party's presidential nominee has not been so definitive. You might remember that Trump was a little slow to disavow David Duke's praise for him a few months ago. Now, last week on Meet the Press, there was this.
Would you support a Democrat over David Duke if it was what was necessary to defeat him?
I guess depending on who the Democrat, but the answer would be yes.
Depending on who the Democrat? Depending on who? Really? There's some Democrats that maybe... Now, naturally, David Duke immediately pointed to that as evidence that Donald Trump could potentially support him for the Senate, depending on the Democrat. Barf. Sorry, that came out wrong. But listen, there are 24 candidates in this primary for this Louisiana Senate seat. 24 candidates, and they all run at once. It's one big primary. If no candidate gets over 50%, which is likely when there's 24 candidates, then the top two vote getters go to a runoff, regardless of which party they're in. And David Duke has run for office a gazillion times in Louisiana. He's only ever won one of those races. And running against David Duke has got to be a little disgusting at one level, but is running against him this year, in the context of Donald Trump's Republican Party, is that something different? Is David Duke right that Donald Trump's Republican success this year gives somebody like David Duke more fertile soil to run in than he's used to? Joining us now is Fayard. She's one of 7 Democrats and 24 candidates total who are running to replace Louisiana Senator David Vitter. Ms. Fayard, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
So there are a million of you running in this Senate race, and I'm not going to ask you to handicap the race overall, but there is national interest in this famous racist running for office again, saying that he feels like he's got a good chance this year because of David Duke. Do you think he is right in that analysis?
Look, I mean, David Duke represents the worst of Louisiana's past, and frankly, he's kind of crawled out of the swamp, seeing an opportunity, a way to divide us even further, and we have to stand up against that in Louisiana. And whatever his motivations are, however twisted that mind may be, I'm actually proud to be able to run in this race and provide a clear contrast to, you know, who we really are down in Louisiana and what we want for our future and our country.
In the Republican primary in Louisiana, Donald Trump did very well. Do you feel like in Louisiana, in a red state like Louisiana, that the Republican Party is different now than it used to be?
Well, the truth of the matter is I think Louisiana has progressed. I mean, we have a Democratic governor, John Bel Edwards, right now. And in our presidential primaries, we had more Democrats that turned out to vote either for Bernie or for Hillary than we actually did for the Republican side. People are really looking for somebody who's going to deliver and get results done in Washington, D.C. I mean, I travel around the state now. That's my full-time job, is campaigning for this. And when I got into the race, it was really about, look, and we're running against an old guard. They really don't do much. They've been in office, 98 years combined. What are you getting for it? But now that David Duke is in this race, the stakes are even higher and even more important, that we call him out for who he truly is, and we make sure we stand up to bullies.
There is a mathematical worry about this race, which is just with so many people running, even with the way everybody's going to run a different kind of campaign, everybody's going to have different endorsements, the stakes are going to shake out however they do. But because he is nationally famous as a cartoonishly evil racist, when you're running in a field of 24 and all you need to do is get the top 2 vote totals, a lot of people are worried that on name recognition alone or by everybody else splitting the vote, he's likely to make the runoff.
There was a poll that came out recently that showed that Duke had 13% support. And, the problem is, how do you really poll someone like David Duke, who's really 100% honest? So he very well could be outperforming that. And his vote is a hardcore vote, no question. I'm lucky because being the Democratic female in the race, it's a clear contrast. His voters aren't necessarily the voters that I'm talking to. I'm focused on the future, equal pay for equal work. We want paid family medical leave. We want college where people can go to college and it's affordable and they don't go up in a lifetime of debt. These are the issues that people need to talk about. But David Duke has gotten in and clouded the debate. And it is very likely that he ends up in a runoff. And it's my job to make sure I'm there fighting against him.
Bobby Jindal, your former governor in Louisiana, ran for president and did terribly. Not to insult him, but I sort of feel like he was in 2016 what Rick Perry was in 2012, that on paper he was great. And on paper he sort of had everything lined up, and then he just was not ready at all for prime time on the national stage. Because he did implode so sort of spectacularly on the national stage, did that remove him as an influence in statewide Republican politics?
Well, Jindal was a tremendous disappointment, and he remains one. Our state's in a serious financial crisis, and we're trying to bail out of what he left us with. The truth of the matter is that he ran for president on the backs of the people of Louisiana. Yeah. It was his ego that drove him to do it, and we see ego throughout this election cycle, don't we? And when you listen to what David Duke says when he qualifies for the United States Senate in 2016, after being repudiated by the vast majority of the voters, because the 13% that may like him, if that is the true number, there's a lot of people who don't. He's still out there fighting again. It has to be about ego and about his twisted rhetoric, and it's not right for Louisiana. It's not right for our country.
Caroline Fayard, who is one of, again, 7 Democrats, 24 candidates total, running in that ginormous Senate primary. Thanks for coming.
So
I really appreciate the chance to talk to you about this. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
If you see David Duke, don't tell him I said hi.
We won't be shaking
hands. He calls. He does. Whenever we talk about him, he calls. Mr. Duke, if you're listening, please don't call. Thanks. We'll be right back.